does this, the question for fans is, does this give us a good semifinal?
Surely not. Don't they just get clapped?
I mean,
surely.
All you have to know, if you guys didn't watch the LPL finals, I'm asking you, go back, watch game 3, watch On completely run it down on Bard, and Billy still somehow wins that game.
Yes.
And ask yourself, can Weibo win a best of 5? Dom on Power Spike, he was like, it's not impossible. And I was like, I don't know about that.
I think it would require BLG to also play really badly, in my opinion. Which
they have at Worlds, to be fair. Sure. They have underperformed, and maybe Weibo is overperforming now. Like, Breathe has been amazing, right? Breathe has been amazing. If you would have to say, okay, so why wasn't Weibo that good? Xiaohu was abysmal in summer. He was really bad. Xiaohu had a mega series against
LMG. Some really good games, yeah.
Yeah, so Xiaohu has definitely, like, woken up again. Light has been very underrated, I think, by people. He's easily one of the top 380 carries at this event so far, if not number 1. I think if you look at the totality of Worlds so far, you could make a case that Light has been the best performing ADC. So for Weibo, it feels like they're peaking at the right time. So perhaps they can change things, but honestly, like, I've seen BLG like play super bad and then still win games against Weibo. So that gives me pause.
By the way, on paper, we do have a fucking insane mid lane pool for the semis, Monty. It is fucking Xiaohu, Knight, Faker, and Chovy. That's like some fucking Hall of Famer shit there.
There's a real chance that is the best mid lane pool in the top 4 ever.
Why not? Yeah, especially for the names and the resume and decorate. Yeah, it's insane.
I mean, literally all those players should be in the Hall of Fame for League of Legends, and none of them have even retired yet. But they're obviously, like, all of them are shoo-ins.
And you've even got that angle where you've got the old masters of Xiaohu and Faker, and then you've got the young dogs of Chovy and Knight who are in their prime now, in theory, ready to win. So yeah, it's mega, isn't it?
Yeah,
I do think though people are reaching too far. Like, it'd probably be T1 Weibo again. That's the least likely one. Come on, guys, that's the least likely one. I know you're fucking but Worlds is always the same. Like, look, I don't know why it is. Is it rigged? Is this WWE? Am I managed to fool watching a fake sport thinking it's real? I don't know at this point in time. But in a sane world, it won't be T1 against Weibo, will it? Come on.
I hope not. I mean, I think what we deserve, and I think it's important to the game and the popularity of the esport. Like, sure, would Faker being in a final drive the most viewership? Obviously,
of course,
right? But is it better for the game to be able to start to actually write the legends of Chovy and Knight, who are going to be around with us for many years, and to have that matchup play out on the world stage and one of them finally win the title? I think that is more important for the longevity of the game.
Yes.
And it's certainly just objectively a better matchup at this point in history.
Oh, by the way, if you just cynically wanted viewership, you obviously want it to be BLG T1 in the final. That will just get all the viewership in the world. But if you want the best match, you probably should want Gen.G BLG. That will be the fucking banger, won't it? And you'll have that scenario where we're guaranteed one of Chovy and Knight wins the title. So it'll be like the crowning moment of the last few years.
Yeah, plus you get Bin versus Keen, which are, the stylistic matchup is super interesting in that case, right? Keen much more of the weak side, old reliable, like, does his job top laner versus the Bin, the ultra flashy lane dominant carry player. There's a lot of good stuff there. I mean, honestly though, like, I think we would be in for a less bad final than last year, even if it was Weibo T1.
Oh no, for
because
sure.
Weibo just felt massively fraudulent heading into last finals, and like T1 it really just felt like they were going to dominate them, and indeed they did. Whereas this iteration of Weibo, you can at least see with Xiaohu like performing a lot better, and then with like Breathe performing super well alongside Tarzan and Light, who have just been good all summer, that this is a roster that could actually like maybe contend for a title.
Oh.
Unlikely. Like, they're definitely like the tier list of teams. Like, you can say probably maybe you say BLG is better because Gen.G played badly versus FlyQuest, and you ignore BLG's like really lackluster Swiss stage, and you say, well, Gen.G's like worse now, even though they dominated Swiss. I would say, me personally, I would say, like, in terms of most to least likely to win Worlds, probably Gen.G, BLG, T1, Weibo, in that order.
Here's the question. We didn't specific. You talked a little bit about the draft, but we have to just specifically spell it out. T1 against Gen.G. What was Monty's thoughts?
Well, I don't think that a lot of Faker's champion pool is really going to be banned, because I think Chovy's just kind of happy playing whatever into him. But like I said, my questions are really what happens. You know, there are so many picks you leave up for Gen.G if you ban out, you know, the Yone, Aurora, and Skarner. And on the other side, let's say Gen.G's on red side and they ban none of them. Are you really afraid of T1 picking the Yone first? You're going to know it's in top before you pick R5. So, and you're going to anticipate that anyway if you're keen. So what, you know, honestly, Gen.G on red side here just might be the play, because you're going to force them into playing Yone or Aurora. And like, you're going to get maybe that and Skarner back, or maybe you force T1 to ban those out on the blue side, which then opens up your ability to counter pick with pocket picks on the red side. So I think T1's champion pool issues in this meta, whether it's at AD with Ezreal, you know, possibly the Ziggs, whether it's, you know, the Yone Aurora problems that they might have, I think that's where this is going to come back to haunt them. And top esports was just not very punishing. So they have to have some, T1 would have to have some answers, I think, in the draft that I just don't think they have the depth currently to do. And I think if Gen.G is smart, they probably prioritize red side. So.
Yeah, but Faker.
Faker does have that
analysis. Why are you doing all that analysis? And then just look at Leaguepedia. Faker will probably win.
I mean, the truth
chalky. He'll probably just chalk again, like he does every world.
The really annoying thing about Faker is that he makes the play when it matters. Like, they should have lost that game to JDG last year, and he comes in and makes the play on the ruler with the Azir.
Can't lie. This would actually be some like Brady level tilt if in like again it's like a 1-1 series, Monty, and in game 3 of Gen.G T1, Faker, he doesn't have to do anything else. If he just does one Emperor's Divide that like wins a team fight, he's doing it again, and then that'd be the worst show.
But he is,
it'll be intolerable.
I mean, it is annoying that, I mean, he's just an incredibly clutch player, and he always has been. And we count that as annoying now, but it is part of his identity and what makes him spectacular as a player.
He just is the most clutch player ever. I'll give him that part. Yeah, I think that one's easy. I mean, that's probably the most noticeable thing about his game.
And that's what people love, because they'll forget all the games that he loses and looks bad in, because the only thing they remember is like the fucking Azir shuffle.
No, the joke is, people might know this reference, right? In the game Quake, the 1v1 series, one of my favorite players is a player who also had incredible longevity. It's the Russian player Kula. And I can tell you, there was times when he wasn't actually the best dueler. But the thing is, because he was insanely clutch, Monty, in some ways that was even better, because what would happen is he'd be down in a game, like 2 kills at the end of the game, and then he'd just pull some like insane trap play and get back in. And in some ways, Monty, that's more satisfying than if he'd just been winning by 3 kills and didn't lose, you know. Like, it's actually cooler that he sort of put himself in danger to then in the same way. Here's the league reference for people. One of the reasons why we all got to enjoy Double Lift's mechanics is because he made so many stupid boneheaded decisions that he had to mechanically kite his way out of situations he never should have been in. He should have just flashed probably earlier, you know. So that in some ways, you know, it can actually work in your favor, because it does make the storyline way more hype, obviously. Because also notice the difference is, in the past, when Faker was clutch, that's like when he was already the best and other people pushed him. Now it's like he come in always expecting he should lose to all these people. Like, all these other Midlands on paper should beat him. But then if he pulls it out in some epic fashion, it makes it kind of cool in a way. Like, the narrative's just super satisfying.
And he does make epic plays, and he is super clutch. And it's not like Gen.G doesn't have problems right now, right? You know, Chovy had a bad series. Pays and Lehans had terrible series versus FlyQuest. Pays did not have a good final. Like that, if not for Pays, Gen.G probably would have won summer finals. He threw game 1, and he played badly in a lot of the other games as well. Pays is potentially not the best player in these kind of super high pressure games that we're seeing. And when they're really pushed and he's the one who has to perform, he hasn't done that. Like, there are risks here. And T1 is a good team. And T1, like we said, never failed to make it You know, they've made the last 2 World Finals, even when we thought there was no chance in hell they win Worlds last year.
And I'll throw this out for you. You know, all the people doing that thing, I don't believe this, Monty, but I'm going to use their whack logic against them. You know, the last few years, they've been going like, well, you know, Faker never loses in best of 5 to the LPL. Well, shame he's playing the LCK then, isn't it, dickhead? Let's pull up the LCK record at Worlds, shall we? Oh, is that right? Are people beating him all the time? Is it DRX? Is it fucking damn one? Is it? Yeah, exactly. So your own logic plays against you. Now, I don't believe in it. Like, I'm not superstitious like that, but you are. So you take that and put that in your pipe and smoke it, sir.
Yeah. I mean, T1 can win for sure. Like, I think if you see the T1, you know, the same teams that we saw in the quarterfinals, but I just don't, I think, you know, I think it was a bad day for Gen.G.
Here's why I don't think they win, Monty. I'll actually give you some real analysis because I actually do think, as you said earlier, if you think about the way the top esports series worked, if you think about when they played that one game against BLG, the problem these other teams had was they basically let T1 be the one who decided if there was a fight, if this objective had to be fought, etc. If there's one team I can actually trust, Monty, to not fight against T1 when they don't have to and you can just win in any way you scale it is fucking Gen.G, bro. Like, they are the team I can trust when Chovy will just go into a side lane, where they will just go, you know what, but we don't even need to take this particular objective. We can give it to them. Like, I think they are the one I can trust to do it. So I think they will play responsibly and they will just win.
And it really is just also a draft issue because
you have a lot of meta
champions are just in Gen.G's favor. Like, if you can't play the Yone well or as effectively, if you can't play the Aurora well or as effectively, I'm pretty sure they can play Skarner, so I'm not worried about that one. But if you can't play the Ezreal, if you can't play the Kai'Sa, you know, this means that if you have to start banning these champions, Keen gets Cassante.
I'll give you an example.
He can just play Cassante into anything. So what are you going to do?
Here's how fans think. There's actually a banger comment in a thread on Reddit. I got this saved for you because it's a guy where this is pure copium because it sounds like he's countered the idea Gumayushi has championship problems, right? Because look, he goes, Guma is good at Kalista, Caitlyn, Kog'Maw, Varus, Jinx, Xayah, Misfortune, Neela, Jhin, Draven, and Ashe. And then he puts hyphen, is that not enough? Are you ready? I'm going to answer you live. Not in a meta where you can pick Ezreal, fucking Kai'Sa and Zeri, you fucking idiot. Like, what you've just done there that's so stupid is you picked a role ADC that's always about being good on like 3 of the 4 meta champions. And you've just listed loads of other champions that we aren't playing as the meta champions. So you're right. If this was like a game where it's like mid lane, you play whatever, yeah, that would be great. But right now, actually, to not be good on all the super strong ones is going to limit the draft, of course.
Well, it's also that if you want to play Kalista, you have to ban Ashe.
There you go.
So that's an issue in its own right. And then also, like, I think we may, to be fair, I think we may see some more Varus, and we already saw the Caitlyn. So I think he does have
Caitlyn, if it is available as an angle, always will be a win if you can get them. That's one of the best possible draws. But a lot of teams are going to surely be looking for that as well.
Well, right. And even, I would say, even like Caitlyn and Varus are going to be vulnerable to some of the things that Gen.G has shown. Like, they didn't pull out the Nocturne again, but like they are really good at running that Nocturne, Ahri, like Twitch or Kalista bullshit. And this is a team that they intimately know each other, right? They intimately know each other, but I don't think that, you know, there is, maybe T1 has some super secret picks that are going to define the meta from the semifinals forward that they're going to deploy against Gen.G. But I think you would have to be crazy to look at the current meta of the game and the priority picks and say that T1 has an advantage. They don't. It's a better meta than Summer, but it still is not really ideal at either AD or mid for this team. That's it. And it's just better for Gen.G. And there's not really an argument that you can make that is true. Like, Gen.G, I mean, maybe T1 can play Aurora well, but like, at least I've seen Keen play it, right? I assume Chovy can play it. Like, Faker.
I would like to see that busted out. Actually, I want to see the Chovy Aurora.
Yeah, like Faker's played it, but again, it's like he's played Yone too, right? He's played Yone too. And his one Aurora game was before the Aurora was actually banned on the patch. It was at the end of LCK Summer, so it was even before playoffs. He played it versus Nongshim and he lost. And then we haven't seen it appear since that time. because it was banned, right? Because it was removed, but it was there for the start of playoffs, and he didn't play it then. So I don't know. Like I have a lot of questions about what they can actually pivot to, and at Worlds, you know, he's pulled out the Nico. He did win with Yone, but it was versus Pain Gaming, and the when he's played Yone in Korea, it did not look great, even when he was winning games. And then otherwise, he's played Ari and Silas and Galio. Does he need more than that? Maybe not. But I do think that versus an opponent like Gen.G and versus an opponent like Chovy, Chovy's going to have answers. Like,
listen, guys, I've got the bad news. I have, not through any like actual real world means, that doesn't exist. I would never make that allegation. But through accessing the Akashic record, which is outside of time and space, I already know what happens. Both series and the final are 3-1s. It's 3-1 Gen.G wins, 3-1 BLG, and then in the final, Gen.G wins 3-1. And I told you, it's actually boring from here on out. You saw the best series from Gen.G already. That was the FlyQuest one. That was the one where they gave you the entertainment, the excitement. That was the one where the match went all the distance. It's gonna be some standard claps from here on out. It's all good. It's just gonna be claps all the way. 3-1, 3-1, 3-1. Come back and I will be the prophet.
I mean, if T1 wins another Worlds, it will be really amazing. I will say that. Like, if they get back to back it, that will be very impressive.
They've got 2 best-of-5 series to win still, money. So I'm not going to get onto that train. I'm not even going to enter that narrative train until at least they make the final, mate. I think they're going to get. I think they might. Like I said, 3. They could even get 3-0 by Gen.G. That's plausible. I know people are thinking, no, but they can't put Gen.G. Like, we'll see. I think there's so many different factors. Draft, like we're saying, head-to-head. There's so many.
It's also weird shit happens always in these international tournaments when you see teams from the same regions.
Oh, like, sure.
You know, they just know each other so much better that things can get a lot stompier a lot of the time. And they sometimes teams revert to like regional metas. I mean, we've seen this a million times with the LPL where they like don't play a bunch of champions that they play domestically. Then they hit each other. Then all the weird picks come out and then they go away again once they're done beating up on each other. Right. And they get sometimes in the past with LPL, they've kind of gotten drawn into like the constant skirmish style when they weren't playing that way. They don't do that anymore, but this is just historically. I'm just saying
by
that
the way,
the interregional matches produce weird results a lot of the time.
Even though, if you actually listen, my real opinion was earlier. It's about styles make fights. It's about the matchups, about what did FlyQuest do in draft. If Gen.G 3-0s T1, absolutely, you can all do the tweet. Is FlyQuest better than T1? Now, look, it's an egregious, fucked up angle. You're being incredibly cynical if you do it. But if you want to be a dickhead, that is right there. I might even do it myself. I can't lie. We'll see how I feel on the day. It's all good. See how much I want to give the hurt to the fans of T1. We'll see.
What are the fans of T1 going to do when this roster inevitably doesn't all stick together next year?
I mean, it can't, surely. I mean, like you said, the money-wise, they've had their run already, yeah.
I mean, Faker's the only one contracted next year, so... I think many of them will have more lucrative offers from other places. Also, I think like
I'll be very interested to see where they go.
Yeah,
I want to see where they go as well. I'd be interested to see where these other players end up going. There's a lot of different spots that'll be quite interesting at this point in time, right?
Yeah.
And who does T1 get? That's actually one of these most interesting off seasons ever for LCK in that regard.
Yeah, because they did already the like rookie reset around Faker, and I don't think that they have the talent to do that again. So I do think it'll be very...
See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, you know, be a pleb and don't.